Why did it immediately do that? I didn't move for say that. Anyway, we're back at it again. Why is it doing that? Okay, all right. Well, it's gonna be weird about it again, the movement, but that's fine. Um, so hopefully nothing will be cut short today. It shouldn't be. I don't know how many of the videos in this playlist that I made I'll get through, or also how much content will actually overlap between them. Um, we'll see. I um uh, I don't know which ones we'll actually be watching, so they aren't linked below yet, but they will be after the stream. I'll immediately go in and add all the links, except for the one that I know for sure because it's at the top of the list and already started last time before the interruptions. But for the most part, I don't know. There's probably not enough here to encompass 4 hours. But I say that I might have a lot to say. Also, since last time, people started uploading content about the new Ryoji stuff, which means we won, and that can be on here too. So, there's that. Once again, got no idea how the audio will sound. I mean, I try. I do my absolute best. Okay, for some reason I decided not to. That's weird. What is? Yep, perfect. Exactly how intended. Why did do that? Just make it smaller. Just make it. It was so small. It's so small on the other one. Why is it like this? Oh, you want to reuse this? You better remake it completely. And now it's gone. I don't know where it went. Okay. Not me. Everything. This is a disaster. As per usual. That's kind of on brand, honestly. Yes, a piece of text you can't actually see because of the color of the room. Well, was it worth the shot? There we go. Nailed it. Everything's perfect now. There are no problems whatsoever. And if I say that enough, it'll be believable, right? In that, in that regard, what a weird choice of words for me. So normal. Yep, I wanted to say road instead of reload. Thank you. My announcement. Now, you would think I could spell the word reload considering how simple of a word it is. You would be incorrect. Also, why is my mouth not moving? Hey. Okay. It's fine when I switch to it, and then I switch back here, and suddenly the mouth isn't moving. Well, I guess it's better than when it was completely opening for the tiniest little sound. Is it, though? Is it better? Is it worse? Who knows? I have my audio settings probably the same. I can't be sure if the settings for me are the same, but I know they're basically the same for the actual video audio, so. Why does it keep pushing me into the abyss? I barely moved. Okay. I really need to fix the background. This chair does not need to be this big. Anyway, on that note, we should be able. Not me. This OBS, please. I'm begging you to move the correct one. Okay, now I actually do want to move. Not the background. Please. Be cooperative for like one time. No, it's fine. This is. Well, I mean, technically that fixes the problem. Not really. Just stop it. What the fuck? Select the thing that I'm already selecting. What is your damage? Okay, we can hide that. It's fine. Why am I so big? Whatever. This is fine. This is exactly how I intended it for sure. Anyway, reload content. Why are you down? I look away for a second and suddenly I'm shrinking. VTube Studio, what do you what? Anyway, I have to figure out how the audio is for me, whether or not I'll be able to hear it, because I need to be able to know if they're speaking.
Welcome back. With that, we have all the second years present.
So, what exactly are we all here for?
I had planned to give Yamagishi a tour of the dorm, but I realized I never actually showed it properly to any of you since you moved in. I apologize for that. I'd like to take this opportunity to make it up to you all.
We've kind of been living here all this time. I think we get the picture by now.
If any one of us needs it, it's you. You do realize if you screw around and break something, you'll get us all in trouble, right?
How's that work?
Come on, I'm getting by just fine.
Wouldn't it just be the person who did it who'd get in trouble?
I could give you a tour myself.
You'll make a great assistant then. Humor me a bit, won't you? With the increase in members, I'd like to expand our access to facilities.
Wait, new stuff? Sweet. So what, we gonna get like hot springs? Or maybe a casino?
Junpei, be realistic for
You're
like
so
once.
stupid. We'll just have to see now, won't we? Follow me.
Oh, okay. Thank you for setting this up for me.
I just had a thought. Let me
This is the
check
communal
something really
kitchen.
quickly. Oh. Oh. My command to mute my microphone also mutes the tab I'm on. That. I guess I'll have to deal with that. I was gonna say, it's interesting that they decided to do this. I know, and it's like, oh, it's just a little more stuff to do with your party members because they added like more interactions outside of social links. Yes, but however, it's interesting that they decided to go about it this way, considering they like never address most of the other things in the dorm aside from like the command room. They never address that there's a TV in the lounge. They never address the kitchen or any of that outside of outside of P3 default original whatever. They address the kitchen in Shinjiro Social Link, but that's only in P3P, and then they address it in Persona Q because they have their little party, so they technically address the kitchen. And they definitely never address it in default P3. So I guess they were like, well, we've always had the kitchen there. We might as well actually make it a thing that the characters are using. I'd say they, like, I would say that Fuka might use it because she's been cooking, but she's the sole member of the cooking club, so she's actively using the school's facilities to cook. So even then, you only ever see her cooking in the dorm in P3P for Shinjiro Social Link. So I guess they were like, you know what? Missed opportunity. We could have been doing this the whole time.
Oh, looks so clean now. I didn't realize the kitchen was so big.
I was planning to do this earlier, but with April's shadow attack and ensuing investigation, I just couldn't find time. It should be far more accessible now. You're free to use any of the kitchenware here.
Do you all cook your own meals?
I've seen Akihiko in here from time to time. As for myself, I can't say I do. We
No,
used to have
that's so
someone who cooked
surprising.
with some frequency, but
Oh,
I'm not thinking.
Shinjiro
Yeah,
reference.
come here to get hot water. What about you?
If you care about eating a balanced diet, there's no
I
better
was
way
gonna say
than
our
to cook it
first
yourself.
Persona protagonist who
But it's
doesn't
not
know
as
how to
cheap as
cook,
they
but
make it
I
out to
can't
be. It's hard
actually
to use everything
guarantee
up before
that
it goes bad.
Boy with Earring
Son,
or
is that
Tatsuya
really
or
all
even
how to
Maya
cook?
know how to cook.
Huh? Oh, I mean, I can do it, I guess, but I'm no chef. It's been a while, and I've had my fair share of embarrassments. But with a kitchen this big, I think a couple people could work together in here. We can have the work, but double the flavor,
At least
you know?
Yukari's like
I should try it next time.
an okay cook. That makes at least one person in the storm.
moving right along then.
Well, I guess they mentioned Akihiko has done
Here's where
some
we all
cooking, so.
head.
This is the lounge. Well, I suppose it requires no further explanation.
Wait, is that a DVD player? When did that get here?
Oh, that's mine. I brought it with me from home. It's a bit of an old model, though.
Well, it's a DVD player, so from the modern perspective, it's old no matter what.
Well, it was a broken one to begin with, but I was able to fix it. So I hoped you all might get some use out of it.
She's so
The
sweet.
sofas here are pretty comfy. It'd be a perfect place to sit back and watch. Oh, maybe this would be a good place. There are some movies
I
I've
think
been
we need to
wanting
address the
see,
fact that the
but
couch
I'd
setup
rather not
sucks for watching that television. Only
What's this?
2 of them
Is
really have
Yucatan
good
afraid
views.
to watch horror flicks? It's quite a shocker to see your soft side. Hard to imagine you're even the same person.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
The big one is
Wait, what did I say?
this one is completely faced away from the TV. So except for this seat, it's like impossible to watch the television. And even this one, you have to be like sitting sideways on the couch. And this one, same problem. It's actually even worse here. So only the one opposite this and the other big couch actually have a good view of this television. It's in such a it's such a weird setup. Anyway, I wasn't listening to them, I'll be honest.
Be a good place. There are some movies I've been wanting to see, but I'd rather not watch them alone.
What's this? Is Yucatan afraid to watch horror flicks?
Junpei,
It's quite a
leave her
shocker
alone.
to see your soft side. Hard to imagine you're even the same person.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
Well, it's hard to actually picture someone being scared of watching horror movies just because horror movies are not scary.
I swear.
They're just kind of boring.
You've got some nerve, Junpei. You better watch your back next time we go to Tartarus.
Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know.
Yukari-chan, you're kind of scaring me.
That wraps up the first
The
floor.
protagonist dialogue just completely disregarding the entire conversation, being like, I could watch movies.
Oh, by the way, Yurijo-senpai, are we allowed to borrow those books on the shelf in the back?
Of course.
There's
Those
books
were
there?
donated by residents of the dorm. I peruse them from time to time myself.
There's books back there?
Nice and quiet. And let me tell you, those chairs are soft. When I cozy up here with a good book, I end up reading way late into the night.
All you read is manga.
It's still reading.
I think manga is a respectable form of literature. Maybe I'll try reading here as well. People are always coming and going from the lounge, so I could see this place being less distracting.
Is that why everyone's always up here? I know it's so that they're like, hey, here's stuff you can do. But having the protagonist just like completely ignore the entire conversation and be like, I could read a book.
Just one
I
thing,
could watch a DVD. Like, yeah, you sure
when you
could.
finish the manga, put it back on the shelf. I don't want to see them piled up on tables and chairs.
Hi.
Jeez. Keep an eye on Junpei so he doesn't make a mess of this place.
Why is that our
Let's
responsibility?
keep moving on then.
He's not our child. We shouldn't have to be
We've been
responsible for
keeping
him.
the rooftop off limits, but recently decided to open it up. The chairman wanted to start a small garden here.
Also, we have to see all this again, even though
Something like this up here.
they just
Is
showed
it growing vegetables?
earlier,
Boy,
which was in the
I can
last
hear him now.
stream,
Eat your veggies. Peas.
him telling you
Sounds about right.
to use the
With a terrible
fucking.
smirk plastered on his face.
I hear you're the one taking care of it. Looks like it's shaping up quite nicely. The chairman was right to put you in charge.
Are you okay doing this all on your own? What, me? No. Bad idea. I tried to grow morning glories for a project in elementary school. Not a single one lived. But hey, maybe this is my chance to give it another shot. I can help out from time to time, I guess.
The more time and care you put into this kind of work, the better the results. Cooperating with someone on this may be worth your time.
I might be a bit interested as well.
I mean, it can be a communal thing.
That wraps up this area.
People
Let's
take
head down
turns, and
there.
then there's one person in charge, who of course has to be us,
And
because it
that
always is.
concludes the tour.
Being shown around kind of makes me feel more motivated to make use of those places. Did you get
Yeah,
all
well,
that?
you've just kind of been
Anything you're still unclear about?
passing them by casually and not really thinking about what's there.
Good to hear. I hope your stay here is an enjoyable one. As long as all of us remain considerate, the dorm will continue to be a comfortable living space for all. If there's
Still a
anything
bother
you'd
that the
like
dorm
to
has
do,
0
you may
shadows in
want to
it,
invite
though.
the others to join you.
Yeah, we're all living under the same roof after all. Better to
Like
make the most
visual
of it.
shadows, obviously.
I've never
Can't be
moved
too
in
careful when you're
anything
talking
like
about
this
Persona.
before,
I don't want
so I'm a little
shadows in
nervous.
it.
I'll try my best to enjoy
Huh.
myself here with you
Except for
all.
one.
This may be coming a little late for most of you, but welcome to the dorm.
It seems like it should be it, right? What else is in here? What else is in? Well, they added idle and like different. Besides just putting your hand in your pocket.
Oh,
I assume this is all just doing stuff with the others, which is new content, but the specifics of that would be like for a different for a different video. A video stream, I don't know. So next up, oh yeah, there's this group study thing for this exam season, which is new. Also, I've seen screenshots of just the image of basically everyone there. Not everyone, but like most of them there. And Akutsuki is there. And it's like, why is he studying? Why is he here? I don't think this is that one.
Welcome back.
But if it is, I'll make fun of it too. I still remember the second year material. If I can help if there's anything I'm unsure of.
Yes.
Glad to hear it. We'll take advantage of the living. Man, people read so quickly. So from experience, we don't really need any extra academic. Maybe they changed the amount. I don't know. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Is this the one that's I'm looking at the character trailer?
Sorry, Mitsuru. I'm almost done.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, she's letting me copy them. It covers the time I was at the hospital for my checkup.
Akihiko, are you feeling unwell? You seem to be short of breath.
I'll be fine. More importantly, why don't you help his studies? He ended up in the hospital right after transferring. Might need some help to make up for the class time he's missed.
You do have a point.
Well, you can actually see
These are
that
my
he's
notes
standing
from
above the
last
chair.
year.
He's
You can use them
shaking.
later. I don't think the content of the class has changed much since then.
Your notes are as perfect as ever. They're easier to understand than the textbook itself.
Flattery will get you nowhere. But I suppose I am rather particular about my note-taking. In class, I listen closely and write down bullet points. Then I organize them later into a more readable format. It's a bit
She does more
but
of
I find
this.
it's
I
overall
would
a
just
more
copy
efficient
down
way
like
of
everything that
reviewing
was told to me.
material. If you plan your day-to-day tasks effectively,
And I never organize my notes. It's like if I took a note about it, it's there somewhere.
You seem to have a knack for this. I'll teach you more of my study techniques next time.
Mitsuru's right. Efficiency is key. We're all given the same amount of time. It's how well you manage it that can set you apart.
Indeed.
Yeah, but some people need more time, even if they manage it well.
On that note, shall we return to studying?
Oh, so you get more academic. I feel like the new
Alright, done.
the new animations take so
Hiko,
long
you're drenched in
for
sweat.
gaining
And
stats.
heavy breathing. Are you sure you're...
This is
I'm
this
fine.
is
I've
what
just
the
been squatting
Nahida's
over my chair
doing.
this whole time. Wanted to challenge myself to hold it until I was done with your notes. Working out while studying is quite an efficient use of my time. What do you say?
Sir.
Why are you like this? I thought I told you not to push yourself until you fully recovered. If you take efficiency too far, it'll backfire. Don't follow his example, okay?
Like, don't
Well then,
be
I
a
think we've made a fair
freaking
amount of
idiot.
progress. Let's call it a night.
Don't follow the example of the stupidest person in the store. Oh, they do have other ones in here. Cool.
Wait, what? You're a saint!
Or
Jeez.
Junpei. Has no idea how to study.
Man, this sucks. Guess I don't have much choice with Kirijo-senpai getting on my case. She was like, if you fail your midterm, there will be consequences. I feared for my life for a second. You guys are my only hope. Give me a hand here. Please?
That was almost a really good imitation of her.
You can start by taking this seriously. You've been distracted this whole time.
As they say, it pays to be prepared. Gotta get myself in the right mindset first, right? A good study session needs a clean and organized workspace, and the perfect mood for learning. And so, to set that mood, Junpei Iori,
I don't know if that's true.
volunteer.
What? Where is this coming from?
You there, young man! What lecture would you like to hear from the great Junpei? History, arithmetic, literature?
Why do I not trust your opinion on any of this? This literature would be lit.
Aha! A man of culture. Literature it is, then. Have you ever read the famous dystopian science fiction novel 1984? Oh,
Yeah, but I'm surprised you
haven't?
have.
That's a shame, but oh well!
I'd really like to close the book on this chapter.
You cried, you can't be making puns.
We all need a breather sometimes. What you think about the great Junpei's lecture, dude?
You only got like one sentence in.
Ah, quite the studious young man, aren't you? Then allow me to give you my best lecture yet.
Stupay, you're starting to infect his mind too. If we keep humoring you, it's going to impact our studies too. Or maybe we should just let you fail. Find out what Kirijo-senpai's consequences are like firsthand.
Let's not get hasty.
To be perfectly fair, if you can find a way to use what he's doing here to get him to actually learn the material, by making it entertaining for him, it will actually help him in class. So, like, technically, it's not necessarily a waste of time. However, make the subject matter actually stuff you're learning. It might help. Who knows?
Here, I was just joking around. I'll get serious. I swear. Don't abandon me.
the silence. The absolute lack of reaction. But now maybe it takes less time than 5 then
This goes like that. Then you take that and
the stat up
here.
screen.
And
You know it took even less time? Just seeing the pop of you gain the
you
stat.
mind giving me a little help with this one?
Oh, look who's actually putting the effort in. That wasn't so bad, was it?
About that joke I was telling earlier. Should I pause before the punchline or go with the flow?
Why don't we just pretend this guy doesn't exist and study on our own? I guess that's enough studying for today. Thanks to you, I got a lot more done.
I really appreciate the the little things that they did for Reload, like giving them different postures when they're sitting and know that. Not that they didn't have that originally, because they do sit differently in the lounge when you're
Hello.
playing the other games, but there's just a lot of little details
All right.
that I really appreciate.
Yes, correct. The answer is May Blues. Next, for the following sentence. What's the matter, Yuri? Feeling the May Blues?
What? Oh, it's nothing.
Kirito-senpai, about this question here.
Hey, dude. Oh, you smell that? It's insane.
What?
Come on, man. Get your priorities straight. Don't you notice when a sensual
Oh
fragrance
my
comes your
god.
way?
This man.
I know what you mean. To be honest, I can't get enough of it.
Oh my god. You guys are not talking about the same thing. I just know it. I just know they're not talking about the same thing.
Such grace. Such elegance. Truly the fragrance of the upper class.
I'd personally describe it as stimulating.
Oh my
I
god.
can almost taste the juicy tenderness.
What is wrong with these people?
What?
Oh, I was heating up a beef bowl for a late night snack. Smells pretty good, right?
A beef bowl? That's what you were talking about?
To the thing.
Not you too! Come on! Guys like us should be thinking with our... well, not our stomachs.
Junpei. You're supposed to be studying.
It's not a son. You don't happen to have any extra, do you?
No eating until you've gotten some work done. Stay focused. Keep your hand moving.
But Mitsuru, studying on an empty stomach just makes your studying habits worse because you're hungry. You're not you can't focus correctly. That's bad habit to keep up. You have to eat first, study, and then you can have snacks afterwards, like treats.
For goodness sake.
But if you're hungry, you're not going to be focusing. The big problem in school, kids can't focus because they're hungry. I know I was. Well, that was because my metabolism too fast and I didn't eat enough, and I'd have to eat again at school before lunch, or else I would get very, very sick. But still, my point stands. They should be allowed to eat.
That should be enough for tonight. Make sure not to eat too much before bed.
Oh, that's not correct. Alright, next. Oh yeah. All the third G and fusion spells. If this would pause so I can actually scroll back up, that would be great. Please. There we go. It started on some, but that's fine. Alright. Fusion and we from social stuff to actual gameplay stuff with 30 spells. Yukari, where? Oh, there's actually more to them than I guess they cut parts of them out for the trailer. Oh, there's more than. I guess that makes sense because their personas evolve. This is the one from his trailer. Poor Junpei. He used to use the treatment where he falls over in a special attack. Oh. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, right, his persona evolves because of Jori, so that's weirdly sad. I do appreciate they all look kind of, well, not all of them, but most of them look pretty clumsy before their personas evolve, and then the second one, the latter surgery actually looks a bit more polished. It's the little things. I say most of them because it sure looks pretty polished to start with. But you know what? Honestly, I think I like Mitsuda's first one better. Weird. Will Koromaru get an upgraded one since he doesn't have an upgraded persona because he's perfect as he is? Oh, guess so. Yay. Koromaru's obviously the best. I don't like that his child is actually cooler than me. It bothers me so much. I guess this first one's actually a bit more... Okay. Shinji obviously will only have one. Because, you know. I don't like... I don't like that. I guess this is basically something else. Just pictures in her trailer. Weird that I guess the upgraded one is actually like, why is it like that? It's actually like more robotic. Do you think it would happen that you would gain that one after, you know, all of the stuff that makes you go, wait a minute, I have my own life? Well, I guess it's not necessarily contradictory, it's just kind of strange. So I guess because it's not using Argia mode, maybe. And they'll walk away. All the party members look cool in their 30 attack, and then most of the time the protagonist just walks away and it's like the personas can deal with this, or they look kind of silly, which I think is pretty fun, but I just think it's funny. Just to contrast that one, that was actually generally kind of cool. You got me with that one.
Sorry for calling you all again so soon, but I brought something special to...
Oh, okay. This is... I don't know if YouTube Studio keeps deciding that I'm shrinking or whatever. This is the... I didn't actually... Okay, I did bring it up. The new equipment stuff.
Today. Well, let me just show you before I get into explaining what it is.
Is he speaking, and I just can't hear him, or is it there no voice?
I'd like to provide you with
Okay, he's
new
speaking.
equipment. After spending quite some time in development, we're now ready for the battle testing phase. The shadows are getting stronger. You just barely won the last battle. Soon they'll grow even
Okay, well, to be fair, they really won the last one based on the team that's currently here. Because because they, because, bro, if I could speak, because Mitsuru didn't have the analyst capabilities that Fuka does. And this allows him to surgery.
Theurgy means spiritual magic that could reach the gods in Greek. To put it simply, it synchronizes with the user's emotions, and when the right conditions are met, allows them to unleash an attack of immense power.
Oh, you're talking about signature attacks. Oh yeah, I've been waiting for something like this. Okay, how does it work?
Well, about that, it's a bit difficult.
Nowadays, everyone can say they've been waiting for this.
For yourselves.
They've stolen Akihiko's line.
Dangerous to use something like this without knowing how it works?
Oh, don't worry about that. It's been well tested and determined to complete.
Okay, but how is it tested when all of the Persona users you have access to are in this room?
I'm sure glad I made it in today. With Yamagishi-kun
Wait.
Kirijo-kun can go back to
Well, I assume so.
That means Cease is going to have
Well,
lineup after today. And
Strega doesn't have access to any of this equipment, so clearly they didn't, like, give it to them.
oh, would you look at the time? I'd like to talk more about this, but I've been quite busy with the investigation into those large shadows. I think we're on the verge of a breakthrough, though, so I'll be sure to let you know what we find out soon. Okay, I'm leaving the rest to you, Kirijo-kun.
And there he goes.
I do appreciate that the translation
I sort of thought this before, but
seems to have at least tried in this one to be closer to
Like, airless.
how the characters refer to each other in the original Japanese.
In fact, since everyone's already here,
I don't know, I said it like that because
let's head into Tartarus and try out
the
our equipment.
the honorifics, and if they call them by their surnames or their given names, wasn't necessarily consistent in the original translations of the game. Consistent to what it was
Trump card stuff is giving me
localizing.
I'm gonna be all like, take this, Super Ace Toothpaste Attack! Or something like that.
I'm a little nervous since it's my first time, but I'll follow your lead.
All right, we'll go into Tartarus once everyone is geared up.
Understood.
I do like the new Dark Hour transition, but I miss the shattering. Everything else about it's fine. I just miss the shattering of the clock. Here's that shot of Akihiko that they showed in like 5 different trailers. I'm like the only person who thinks, I at least saw this about 5, where I was like, the 2D cuts, like the 2D animation cutscenes were so much worse. And I don't mean like they were badly done. I just mean they just brought me out of the game. They broke my immersion. I think, okay, your walk's a little weird. The walking animations are just kind of weird. I don't know what it is in Reload. This is fine, but every other time I've seen a walking animation from Reload in 2D, it looks so weird. But generally speaking, I think the Reload 2D cutscenes are fine. I just think when the models are this good and your 3D cinematics are so good, there's really no reason to. I've not been listening to them. There's really no reason to have the 2D cutscenes except for like, oh look, we're still doing this thing that we used to do. But like, it's unnecessary, and also they just don't look as good. I'll be in the minority, but I'll be right. They don't look as good. because the designs were definitely made with their models in mind, and they animate weirdly. I don't know, something about it. Even the walking animation in the openings, uh, like the opening cinematic, is weird. The rest of that cinematic is actually really good, you know. And walking is hard to animate, I know, but still, it's like it opening cinematic notwithstanding, because obviously that's really stylized. The the rest of the cutscenes in this game, all the from what I've seen, which isn't all of them obviously, but the 3D, you know, in-game models, not necessarily the not necessarily in-game, they might be pre-rendered, but the in-game models are definitely used. The same models are used. Definitely look way better. I'll I'll die on that hill. Anyway, to what they're actually saying. Well, he's right.
Come on, could you at least wear it like you're supposed to? Oh, but it does look like everyone's outfits are a bit different.
Each one is made to complement our physiques and fighting styles. And we're testing the prototype out on me. But it feels even better than it did before.
Oh, okay.
It's very light and
So they
sturdy.
tested it with
I
Akihiko.
wonder if it's the same materials they use in the military, or maybe even the ones for spacesuits.
Seems like this armband isn't just for decoration either.
According to the manual, there are a bunch of different features built into it. For example, it can give you a readout of your vitals. What else? There's also a function that notifies you when you can use your theurgy?
I know that.
Sorry, it doesn't look like there's much information about that. All I can tell is that
I know
you
that'd
put
be
the
really
cartridge
messed
into
up
your
if they
evoke
didn't give
retinas.
Fuka one, but I don't
Let's
really
head back to
know
Objective
why
3.
she needs it. She's not
Make sure
going
the scaler
into
can
battle.
All right, Yamagishi.
I mean, she
You're going to
looked
be our backup,
great,
just like I
you
mentioned
know.
before. This time,
God, they
I'll be
did. It's
joining the
just like
rescue in
from
battle.
a
I'm going to
tactical standpoint, it doesn't really
skills
make
just to be
sense.
sure.
Me too.
All right. Then including our leader, that will be our team.
Wait, I want to go too. I was so ready for this. You can't just put me on standby.
No.
We can't go without our leader. You stay here and support Yamagishi.
Oh, really? When you put it that way, how can I refuse? Don't worry, Fuka. Nothing's getting past me.
Okay.
Fuka, play along.
Once again.
He needs the confidence boost.
Fuka, if it gets too dangerous, just leave him behind. And don't be afraid to smack him if he tries anything funny. Okay, got it.
Hey, come on.
Yamagishi, could you scout the area?
Yubi's
and find
only
any
ever
flaws
done
we
one
saw
thing that was really that bad,
Okay.
and that was half Ryoji's fault.
It seems different in here from before.
Well, that's nothing new, right?
I can't remember the exact date that
No,
Fuka
not
joins the
like
team,
that.
so I don't know how long it's
Seems
been.
distorted.
I'm
It's
wondering, like,
probably just
it seems
temporary.
different and she's been here once. I
Try to
assume
find a
that's not the
safer floor
case.
for us to start on. You can tell that much already? Wow, Fuka.
It could be because we didn't enter the usual way last time. Or because of those huge shadows.
Oh,
We have no idea
no,
what's going
maybe
to happen in here. Not that I'm complaining.
maybe this is her first time in here after her awakening. You'd have to check the exact date that she awakens. Because I don't remember. Or the date when they, you know, have her join. Is this waxing or waning? Well, it says 24 days till the full moon, so it's probably. I guess it's. maybe you haven't been able to go into Tartarus since her awakening, because it's only been probably like 6 days, so less than a week. Or, you at most could have been in here 6 times. But because they took away the fatigue system, they might have just made it where there's more days where you just outright can't go, or at least straight after her awakening when she's, recovering. Obviously, I don't remember how long it takes before you can go into Tartarus originally after she joined.
All right, let's go.
Look at their little idle animations. Like
That new sword looks pretty cool.
their little dialogue animations.
And this bow I got is really light and looks pretty easy to use. I can't wait to see it in action.
So, the chairman got us all new weapons too, huh? Guess we should be thanking him.
Oh, look,
He barely explained anything, though. Sometimes I can't tell if he's
they're not just all standing in different parts of Tartarus. They're actually
Custom made for us.
like
You can
doing
tell
stuff
because
in
of the
different
sea
parts of
spark
the
mark and
entrance.
everything. As always, you're in command. And make sure to check the equipment before we get started.
Hang on! I'm sensing something on the floor above us. Something strange.
Is it some kind of powerful shadow?
No, it feels similar to the distortion I felt earlier.
Roger. Let's move carefully and assess the situation when we get upstairs.
It didn't occur to me. Technically, Mitsu has just joined the party as well.
Huh? What? Why is it all dark? Where did everyone go? Please, everybody, just stay calm. It looks like you were all sent to different locations on this floor.
So they separated us by force.
There's danger lurking in this darkness. We need to regroup as soon as possible. Yamagishi, can you guide us?
And she's never been very good with her dark force.
Why now? Fuka, where should I go if I want to... Yukari-chan, look out!
Couldn't tell if it just completely lagged and didn't. Oh. Walk with a little bit more urgency when you've all been separated.
Later, you're here!
Just taking a little stroll through Tartarus. My guy. Walk a little bit faster. One thing that has always bothered me,
Not again!
but especially bothers me now, is that they don't carry their weapons around
Everyone's always
in like
protecting me.
cutscenes and stuff.
I'm getting hurt because of it.
Oh.
What am I even doing? Yukari-chan! Fuka, I need you to back me up. I'll hold this thing off until everyone else gets here. Focus. Hit. One more.
It's me just straight up can't control her in this thing.
Is this? Yukari-chan, load the cartridge into your evoker. I know. Now's the time.
I'm saying that it bothers me that they never have their weapons outside of battle. They especially don't have their weapons like during cutscenes and stuff. Which always bothers me. Like, where's your weapon? You have to have it. It's not. You can't materialize it.
Just one more. Take that.
Admittedly, her first surgery is kind of actually cooler. I'll be honest, rewatching it, it's kind of cool.
Are you okay? I'm sorry. It was all my fault.
like you both are okay.
Sorry I worried everyone.
It's all right. You did well in handling an unexpected situation.
Maybe we should consider starting over.
So it is kind of nice that they give Yukari this moment specifically, because she gets a lot of moments where she's just kind of stuck doing, like, getting in this. How do I put this? She gets a lot of very close to damsel in distress moments, and it's kind of bothersome. I'm trying to see if I have another video in this playlist, and I'm like, is this anything new? So let me scroll through. This is all the stuff we just saw. No, this one looks like it's all the same. Oh, there's a little bit more at the end here. Is it? Okay. Every time I switch back to OBS, I just watch my model freak out. Why? What is happening there that I'm not seeing? Anyway, here we go. This looks a little bit new.
Maybe we should consider starting over. Let's head back
Not
to the
this
entrance
specifically.
ramp.
There's stuff here that was in the last one.
I'm sorry. I should have been able to navigate better.
Okay, so this is the first time she actually gets to navigate.
I agree. I'm convinced that you're the one we need on support.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Fuka. I didn't do anything. It was all you, Yukari-chan.
You were her support.
Special attack sure was cool though, Yuka-tan. How'd you do it?
How? I just focused really hard and thought to myself, I have to do whatever it takes. And while I was thinking that, I kind of felt something surging inside me.
The chairman did say the cartridge would synchronize with our emotions.
Right. Although, I'm still not entirely sure how it works.
It's okay, it's video game logic. It doesn't have to make that much sense.
Strong emotions.
So this weapon gives
Although I
them
do
strength
appreciate
beyond
that
their limits when their emotions are heightened.
I don't really get it, but
I do appreciate that Reload tried to, like, justify, the 30 attacks versus, like, a lot of the, like, extra stuff in the other Persona games. I mean, specifically 4 and 5, or Golden and Royal, really. Not just 4 and 5 themselves. They didn't have it. Where it's like, here's the team attacks or whatever. They justify them a little bit, but not. But it's just kind of like, here's how you unlocked it, here's how it works, but don't think too much about it. And 3 is like, no, here's exactly how it functions and why. Canonically, it's like, all right, appreciate it, I guess.
basically, if we're fired up enough, we can really pop off, right?
And thanks to you, Yukari-chan.
I don't know if pop off was a turn of phrase in 2009-10. Actually, you know what? No, it probably was. It was probably the peak of pop off. I don't remember. Time isn't
I just
enough.
got lucky. I don't know much more than anyone else. I'll do more research into how the syncing with emotions works later. Everyone has different feelings when they're fighting.
Also, the syncing with emotion things does work pretty well in Persona because it's all about, like, cognition and stuff. So, and your emotions influence your cognition and how you view the world. So, it works well enough as an explanation.
careful when exploring from now on. In any case, we may have had some problems, but we learned a lot today. Not only did we get to test our new lineup and equipment, but we also got to see that we're all improving at a remarkable pace.
Aw, Kiricho-senpai! Quit buttering me up. Just leave everything to Junpei Iori, the soon-to-be MVP.
Maybe I shouldn't be the one to say this, but you literally didn't do anything.
Listen, he's trying. He's doing his best. You guys literally did not let him join in the operation, so what was he supposed to do? But let me... There's actually not as much left as I thought there would be at this point. And most of them are not... I was gonna say most of them aren't that long, but it's like 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 45 minutes. Alright, I see which one is Reload's favorite. Okay, but next, we will actually give Junpei a little bit of time to shine, theoretically. Who knows? I don't know what's going on in this. But it's a Link episode, which is the new interaction. YouTube, please, I'm begging you to pause this video. Or don't. Okay. It's struggling. My computer's not even like warm, so it's fully just YouTube being annoying. Oh. Well, it's confirmed canonically. Junpei is a better texter than Yosuke, which makes him the worst of the best friend characters, like the bro characters and texting. Because we've seen. Okay, to be fair, 5, the characters texting you in 5 is so weird. Because they mostly all use proper grammar, and they never use emotes, really. Now, here's the thing about this that I think is out of character. All the punctuation and the apostrophes and stuff. Maybe the question mark is acceptable, but this is too grammatically correct. Junpei wouldn't text like that. I don't believe it. I know more than the localizers do. I understand him better. Listen, I use proper punctuation most of the time. Which may not be evident if like you see me tweet or whatever, but that's because those have character limits. But like when I'm messaging someone, I either completely half-ass it outright, but most of the time, unless I know someone really well, it's like completely proper grammar. So I know the kind of person that would use proper punctuation and stuff, and it's not Junpei. This would be one word. There'd be no apostrophe. The spout, he doesn't need the apostrophe. I doubt he even really understands why that apostrophe would be there. He wouldn't do that. Okay, I'm being mean to him. He probably would understand why. But the emojis, however, fitting. I'm going off too much about it, but listen, not my Junpei. The two of us have never really hung out before. The wavy face sweatshop, which seems like a good time for a breather. How about we go have some fun? I'll stick around in the classroom, so just let me know if you're down. Why you text him before school? I mean, I guess it's the best time because you're not at school, but like, you could have done it during lunch, or like, or or like just like after school. I guess after school he'd be in the same room. It'd be really funny if he was texting. But to be fair, that's something I would do. Be in the same room with someone and be like, hey, you want to hang out? And they're like, we are literally right next to each other. It's like, yeah, but I don't know. It seemed easier to ask. So I guess this does make the most sense. Sorry, Junpei, I'm being mean to you. You're real for that. Maybe I should meet with him after school. There's something about the specific turn of phrase of meet with him instead of hang out. That's really funny. It's like maybe I should meet with him. Yeah. It seems a little too official. Is this really loud? This one? A little bit loud. I like this. There's that. Oh, it brings you straight to him. It's like you're literally in that classroom already. You're literally right there.
That's right.
You're in the same class.
I was wondering, you think we could pick up some new moves from these fighting games? Can you imagine if we had like a super badass special attack? Dude, right? And besides, our power's gotta come from the heart, right? That's why I think comics and games will give us a little inspiration.
I
Seeing
mean,
those heroes in action pumps me up and helps me picture my fights better. Know what I mean?
to be fair, if you considering Junpei obviously he's a ghost now. Considering Junpei obviously like spends a lot of time in with manga and video games and movies and stuff, it does absolutely make sense if that's where he draws inspiration for his special attacks from. Just like his fighting style is based on baseball. Like he swings a sword like a bat because he wants, he wants to be a baseball player. So it makes sense. Also, little stuff like this is always fun, where it's like, oh yeah, that completely suits the character.
But hey, maybe someday someone will make a game about our adventure.
What?
I mean,
No,
we
they would
have
never.
gone around saving people, like at the monorail. We kicked ass on that one, didn't we?
Junpei having this conversation in public right next to other people.
Making a comeback after hanging on by a thread? Woohoo, it was like a freaking movie, huh? Though I'd say you really stole most of the show. I admit, wasn't on my game before.
Oh,
This time,
Junpei.
I'm totally gonna knock it out of the park. Whoa! Look who's talking like a leader. I'm stealing the spotlight next time.
Sure, of course.
You know, I really do want to do my best.
Um,
His powers, our mission, I got a lot of good things going for me. I've been really waiting for something like this. I feel like my life's finally starting to go somewhere.
oh,
I don't
Junpei.
plan on letting you get the best of me just yet. You hear? If you go screwing around, I might just have to take over as leader.
Well, that's not gonna happen, but you know.
Well, let's quit yapping and play some games. Our next enemy can wait. You and me are throwing down for the whole enchilada.
I think I appreciate about Junpei's writing is
Oh yeah? Your
it
funeral,
makes
buddy?
it makes a pretty natural fluctuation between him being oh the silly goofy one,
Die, 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 die!
oh, just like me playing video games. Makes a pretty good transition between him being kind of goofy and um his actual like serious side. You know, he does take things seriously. When he has to. Sometimes he tries to. You know, it makes it. I think, and this is one of the points in which I think Persona 3 does it better than the other two. And I say the other two because the way um the way one Persona 1 and I don't know that much about, but Persona 2, both of them are structured differently, so it aids the writing of the characters is a bit different, just in how it's set up and how they develop through the game. Although 3 does that a bit more like the earlier games than 4 and 5 do. But generally speaking, the the character role that Junpei fills, so the one that Yosuke and Ryuji do in the other two, is obviously those characters are like the funny guys, right? But the transition between that and them being serious is done differently in each of those games, and I think it's one point of criticism I have for 5 that I don't often bring up because it's not usually relevant, is that Ryuji's they spend too much time having him be the silly goofy one who makes all the mistakes and doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. And he talks too much about being a phantom thief, and it ruins the he's too loud and proud about it, and then he gets in the fights with Morgana, and he treats him like he's stupid, and then he makes a heroic sacrifice, and they beat him up instead of being thankful. It sucks, and he's the most hated character in that game in Japan. It's like why, right? But a lot of it, I think, besides just his archetype, isn't one that's well loved and over there, and that's a whole different discussion about why. But one thing is, it's like his serious moments are so often completely overshadowed, aside from his awakening and like um like once the first arc is over, his serious moments are so few and far between. He has good moments, don't get me wrong. Um like when uh when Makoto's going to join the party, and she's like taken away by Kaneshiro, and then usually like jumps in front of a taxi to get it to stop so that they can get a ride. That's a great moment for him. But outside of his social link and outside of the first arc, a lot of that gets severely overshadowed to the point that it becomes like he's purely treated like a comic relief, in as much as his serious moments are often then immediately undercut by what is supposed to be funny moments. Oftentimes they're not, and then or like the fucking homophobic stuff in the original P5 that is also still technically there in Royal. They didn't really downgrade it, let's be honest. Not enough to be considered any better. But like that moment where you just abandon him, which is out of character for the protagonist. And by the way, that's also super out of character. It's just a mad flanderization of everyone in the scene. But between that and the fact that he makes a heroic leap to, save the others in the last proper dungeon, and then is immediately punished for it, and it's supposed to be funny, like that's what they're going for, and they downtoned it so many times before the official release, and it's still awful because that's a terrible thing to do to your friend who you serious why. But because of that, his serious moments don't have the same, like, they aren't taken seriously, which undercuts them and makes it so that he's really treated like he's just like the funny character, the best friend, funny man, right? Outside of his social link, that's all he is, even when he's not supposed to be, because the game undercuts all of those moments past the first palace, right? And then there's sort of weirdly the opposite problem with Yosuke, where like he after the first arc, Yosuke is sort of like the protagonist's mouthpiece in as far as the game goes. Obviously, canonically, that's not what's happening. Um, but he's the character who's supposed to be saying what you are thinking when you aren't given dialogue options to choose what you're saying. Like in the group discussions, Yosuke is supposed to be the one that is saying what you are thinking and what you want to say, and as much as he can be, depending on who's playing the game. Um, so it creates, so it manages to make you take him a little bit more seriously because he's leading the serious discussions. But then outside of that, he can be the funny, your best friend who's a little silly outside of his social link, where he's his social link's very serious. For him, right? Which means that when you get to the end of Persona 4, uh, I actually realized I just kind of spoiled Persona 5, and that's not what this video is about. I won't do that as much as 4, but you get to the end of 4, and he's got that, like, I don't want to call it a heel turn, because it's not like he turns against you, but that moment where suddenly you're having to rectify the fact that he is saying stuff that you absolutely should not be agreeing with, but because you've spent this whole game where you're treated as if you're supposed to be agreeing with Yosuke because he's the one speaking for you, basically, it manages to hit that note of this character isn't comedic in any regards in the scene or for that whole section of the game, and take those serious moments very seriously and make you legitimately think about this character in a very serious light, while managing to not undercut it with any comedic moments, because don't they don't make any of those switch ups. They take that whole thing very seriously. And when he is being funny, it comes in moments in which it's completely appropriate for that to happen. However, it does lean to the fact that those two parts of this character are so separated. Those moments completely, they happen so completely separately that it leads to them feeling almost like completely disconnected until you're getting into the scenes in which you're transitioning from one to the other. And that's not necessarily bad that those things are separated, because it's, as proven in Persona 5 with Ryuji, it's very hard to have the serious moments and the comedic moments. And I say comedic and sort of just like lighthearted. They're not necessarily funny, but like the lighthearted moments and the very serious moments, having them side by side can be a detriment to them if they're not done very, very well. And in Persona 5 with Ryuji, they're not really done very well. And that, I love Persona 5. I love Persona in general. So I love Persona 5. But that doesn't mean I can't criticize the fact that the writing, specifically revolving in the main story around Ryuji, tends to really be a detriment to his character in that regard. And so, well, in Persona 4, it's with Yosuke, it's not necessarily a detriment to him, but it is like they managed to avoid that problem by just completely separating those moments and never really having one lean into the next. When things are serious, they're serious, and when things are lighthearted, they're lighthearted, and those two don't necessarily intersect like they do in 5, but in 5 it causes the problem of undercutting each. So, all of that is to say that with Junpei, they actually do a very good job of having the lighthearted moments and the serious moments overlap without being a detriment to each other, because it always feels very in line with the character to have those transitions, like we just saw in his Link episode, where it's like, oh, he's making jokes about, like, taking inspiration from games, and, oh, I'm gonna show you up next time, and then when you say, oh, I'll look forward to it, and I'm sure he ends up transitioning to this no matter what you say, but it's like, oh, I look forward to it. He's like, oh, yeah, of course. Now you're sounding like a leader, and then being like, yeah, I really messed up last time. I wasn't on my best, and I'm going to do better, and watch out, I'll show you up. I mean, just to make the lighthearted moment have the depth that it needs to transition to the serious moment, because it's very in line with what this character is worried about, that the lightheartedness is leaning on, that allows it to transition to those serious moments without it feeling either jarring or like it's undercutting them. And so it's one thing that it's true of the original Persona 3. There are some issues with his writing in the original Persona 3, in that he feels a little too antagonistic towards you all the time until he has like a specific growth moment. Um, it it feels a lot more like that when you're looking back on it than when you're actively playing the game, though, admittedly. But it's always been it's always been a thing with Persona 3 that they do a very good job with Junpei of balancing those two sides, and it feels like they've just gotten worse at it. It's like, oh, they balanced it really well with Junpei and having those moments all lean together, and then they transition between them very well because of how Junpei's character is written overall. And then in Persona 4, they were like, what would make this easier if we just don't like have these moments too close together. I know I can't think of the specific ones, but I know there are some scenes in Persona 4 where it transitions between the two, and it does it fine. But most of the time, they just separate them completely. And then in Persona 5, they're like, yeah, we can do what we did with Junpei, and then they didn't at all. But that's my rant about the best friend characters in Persona 3 through 5. Anyway, Junpei's the best written one, is what I'm saying. He's not my favorite of them because I have bad taste. No, but like from a purely writing standpoint, I think Junpei is the best written one, in that they managed to balance the serious and lighthearted aspects of his character very well in comparison to how they manage it in 4 and 5 with Yosuke and Ryuji, is all I'm saying. Anyway, Akihiko, he's next. His Link episode's next. Well, okay.
Welcome back.
Oh, do I need Sorry for the sudden invitation. I'm thinking about getting something to eat right now. Do you want to join me? I'm in front of Iwatore Station. Okay, let's analyze his texting as well. Actually, it's pretty in character, you know. I look at this, I'm like, yeah, that looks like Akihiko. It's basically just written as his actual dialogue is, which is true of Junpei's too. The problem with that is that Junpei wouldn't text like that. It wouldn't be so grammatically correct. And phones at this point in 2009, 2010, I don't think they have autocorrect that was that good, I'll be honest. I don't remember having autocorrect at all at that time, but I also did not have a phone. So, well, I did. It was a prepaid phone. So, yeah, I didn't have autocorrect at that point on my phone. But who knows? This is but anyway, I feel like Akihiko would type pretty seriously, like grammatically correct. So I'll accept it this time. You get a pass. Oh. So the protagonist, like, thought bubble dialogue, which is the narration, whatever, which was in second person in the original 3 and 4, even though it's always been written the same. Anyway, even that dialogue has it using his surname, which is. Just pause it. Which I appreciate that they're actually like referring to the characters the way it is originally instead of just using everyone's given names. Like I know at the beginning, which I watched in my own time, the intro, because I was like, none of this can be that different. That Yukari says, "Call me Takeba," and so you do in your like narration and stuff. It called her by her surname. I appreciate that the localization finally decided to actually use the way the characters refer to each other in the original. I don't know if they use all the same honorifics and if everyone is using the exact same way of referring to each other as they do. I can only assume so since they decided to do that this time. But I know someone made a chart of like how each character refers to each other party member. And I wonder if that lines up with how it is localized now, which it wasn't originally. Anyway, back to Akihiko.
I've been meaning to thank you for that. You've really stepped up as our leader, so tonight's on me. You've got enough responsibility as it is.
So dramatic.
So you've got talent and an appetite. I think you'd make a pretty good athlete. Just don't push yourself too hard. Things will get easier with experience. And if you need anything, let me know. I'll do whatever I can to help.
Excuse me.
Also having Akihiko spend time with the protagonist really emphasizes how much he like takes care of the other characters, or wants to at least. This is all in his trailer, so I'm not concerned with it.
I'm busy, and I don't like having my picture taken.
What an awkward man.
Rumors that you were injured. Are you okay now? Do you need any help? Is there anything I can bring you?
Oh god.
Who do you think that is?
Oh god.
Not sure. Celebrity, maybe? Want to go see?
Oh no.
Let's go.
He ran away. Like fully ran. Akihiko. You made me forget what I was saying. Oh, right. Is Akihiko originally I have to look it up. Hold on. I want to know what Akihiko's Arcana was originally. I know he's the... I know he's the sun or star. He's a star, right? Because the sun is Akinari. Whatever. One of them's the sun, one of them's the star. In Portable, for 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 his social link. But what was his? Okay, it was originally Emperor, because that's what I thought, and that's what's relevant to the statement I was going to make. So good, that's great. That makes what I was about to say correct. The in the actual, like, I don't know, tarot, whatever, the arcana are originally what they indicate. I'll learn to speak, I'll be unstoppable. What they indicate is Empress and Emperor are kind of like parental archetypes. So Empress is obviously motherly, and Emperor is like paternal in the way that it's in the way that they're kind of function as, I don't know how to put it, but the arcana generally what they represent, right? And you can sort of see that in the shadows in game. Although then there's the aspect of when it's a reversed Empress and Emperor, but that's beside the point. Since the Emperor is generally sort of paternal, and Akihiko is originally the Emperor Arcana, that, and it's definitely a more fitting Arcana for him than the other one. I just had it open. I closed it. Don't remember what it was. If it was Star or Sun. I think it was Star. I think Akinari is the Sun. Anyway, that's beside the point. Emperor is a more fitting Arcana for him overall. It fits his archetype better. And his social link in Portable, to a degree, shows some of that. He obviously, cares a lot about the other members. Although, honestly, to a degree, Shinjiro asks way more questions about how the other members are doing and way more concerned about them, so he almost fits the Emperor better in that regard. But obviously there's more to it than just asking how the other characters are doing. But my point is, this Link episode, at least, like, watching him, like, be like, oh, I'll treat you, whatever. I already forgot what was going on, because him running away was so funny to me. But him, like, actively taking care of the other members to a degree really leans into that, and sort of is like another aspect of, like, oh yeah, he is, in this case, the Emperor Arcana. Also, is this not high definition? I'm connected to the Ethernet, so it should not be that hard. Anyway, so what I was saying is, oh yeah, that reminded me that he is actually the Emperor Arcana. That was it. I went on a tangent. It's fine. Also, him just straight up running away. Big mood, but also, sir. It's really funny.
Let's go.
You could just walk away. You can walk, sir. You don't have to run. Look, I need to jog away.
I've had this problem at school, but I didn't think it'd happen out here too. It's probably because of those interviews.
It happens in his social link too, where he gets approached by fans and it's just like, I gotta leave.
Kept up my winning streak.
But he does not actively run.
You could say that again. I'm not some panda in a zoo for everyone to gawk at. is to be as strong as I can. I want to train hard and feel real pride in my strength.
It does kind of suck because he didn't want to be like a celebrity.
Alright, looks like they've given up. Let's head out to eat. For real this time. We only have so many hours
And
left in the day.
nobody should have that kind of thing thrust upon them without their
Hey, don't be
without them
like
wanting
that.
to be.
I know a place that'd be perfect for us, girl.
Please,
Oh my
just leave
God.
us alone. We're not interested.
One drink. That's all we're asking. Come on. It'll be fun.
Okay, let's beat these guys to death. I mean, not to death.
Hey. Leave them alone. You don't want the police to get involved, do you?
Huh? Who the hell are you?
What? You want to call the cops? Quit trying to act like a big man, you little punk.
Y'all are
Time
stupid.
for you to piss off.
Wow. Great fucking punch.
Hold up. You got some slick moves. I bet you know how to fight, alright?
Oh my
So what
God.
if I do?
How about you and I go a few rounds? If you ain't too busy, there's a spot around.
That's so suspicious.
Whenever I see guys who think they're hot shit, all I want to do is put them in their
Bruh.
place. I bet a lot of people come
That could not more obviously be a setup for an ambush.
What is he
Bro, we just wanted to get like a ramen or something. Probably, that's all he could ever.
I told you. Nothing but trouble. Stay here. I'll be done in a minute.
What? You think you're gonna beat me just like that?
But don't worry. I won't go all out against an amateur. It's gonna be a fair fight.
He was literally a professional.
Let's beat it.
I told you, officer. They were the ones antagonizing us.
And I told you we'll hear all about it down at the station.
We just wanted to get ramen.
Aren't you? We'll need your contact information to notify your parents.
Sir, he doesn't have any parents. Yeah.
Kurosawa-san.
I'll handle these two. I've already cleared it with the brass.
Our hero. The only good cop.
Here, but you better not be starting any trouble. Then why'd we get a report from two ladies saying you were attacked by a group of punks?
Oh, they said what?
They wanted to test my strength. I was just giving them what they wanted.
Oh, Hihiko, do not say it like that.
Public street. You really need to think things through.
You guys are
I'm an officer of the law.
really giving Kurosawa more work than he needs.
Anyone who disturbs the peace is going to have to deal with me. As you can see, your friend here is a bit of a hothead. I know it won't be easy, but try and keep an eye on him, would you?
Okay, that's the job of leaders.
The thing. My arm's healed, and we've got way more dependable people now. There's no better time to test my strength.
Akihiko,
Especially
no.
if someone like you. We really lucked out on that one. So I'm gonna keep honing my skills. That way, I can put down anyone I face with my own two hands.
Oh my God.
You really haven't changed at all. In any case, don't get in over your heads. I have a hunch the guys you ran into were from a gang that's been active around here recently. Just be careful. You don't want to get on their bad side, because once you're on it, you'll never get off. Alright, it's late. You better head
Well,
off.
then we just have to beat the whole gang up. Obviously.
So much for eating out. It's been non-stop interruptions all night. Kurosawa-san's right, though. We should probably head home.
We never even got ramen.
I'll treat you some other time.
Life was nothing but
Do some
disappointment.
jogging on the way back. You want to join?
Sure. The hesitation.
Good
I just wanted food.
Sharp, so watch out for
I just
cars.
wanted to eat
Over and out.
Akihiko.
You just follow at your own pace.
We could get takeout and take it home. I ran back to the door. Yeah. Stamina's improved. Okay. Oh. Okay. But still, just wanted to eat food. What happened? Akihiko's so awkward. I love him dearly. Such a weirdo. Uh, those were all. The reason the next one's longer is because those are just individual Link episodes and not. I assume there's more than one for each character. Because, uh, this Shinjiro video from Faz is so much longer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's more than one. Okay. Let me get to the actual. I don't need to see all the introductory stuff. I just want to get to the Link episode itself. Okay. This is Shindra's, and it's gonna be all of them, not just one, I assume. But I didn't at first realize he was sitting, and I was like, why is Shinji so small? Because he's sitting down, you idiot. I was like, he's supposed to be like way taller than that, I think. Oh, he also got some Aragaki.
So, what do you want?
Oh, this is really quiet. Hold on.
What's this supposed to be? Why do you have this? Oh, now I get it. Kirijo put you up to this.
Is this loud enough for you, though?
She's tried this a few times.
It's actually really quiet.
I knew this envelope looked familiar. Think for yourself for once. Don't just go along with what everyone asks.
Oh,
Mind your
get
own
cared about,
business.
idiot.
Why are you all like this? But I guess you can't. Explains why you've accepted being weaker. We done? Get out of here.
Bye, Shinji. Oh,
Thanks for going through all that trouble. Maybe
no.
treat you to a meal sometime.
Will you actually? Because Agihiko said the same thing, and we never got to eat.
All that? I told you to get going. I already got plans. It doesn't
Rejected.
I'll be back by tonight. That's why I rejoined in the first place.
We know you care, Shinji. You can't deny it. I don't have any criticism about his texting because there's only one line, but the shortened nature of it is in character. Although I wonder if he would bother with a capitalization. Although he's weirdly serious, so maybe. Uh huh.
Not hungry?
You haven't even gotten the food yet.
Because I said I'd treat you. I can't go back on my word. It's bad for my conscience.
He's so sweet. He just doesn't want you to know. So faithful.
That's supposed to be a compliment?
These really are just social links. They just can't call them social links because you don't get.
You don't go back on your word. Especially when it comes to
It doesn't
something you
influence your
already said.
persona.
Right. Don't want the noodles to get soggy. I was thinking earlier. You really don't take any shit. Even from your elders. I respect straightforwardness. Less trouble that way. Let's finish up and get the hell out of here.
don't know, you seemed a little troubled by all the straightforwardness of Kotane in your social link. We're besties now. No, he's leaving.
Have you considered returning to school at all? It's been some time since second semester started. Regarding your attendance, it'd be best if you went back as soon as possible.
Oh, Mitsuru. He does not care about his attendance.
I got the paperwork, but I don't remember saying anything about
I
jumping
mean,
in.
fair enough.
What's the point anyhow? I got no business there.
Then why did you come back here?
Because I can.
I apologize. It isn't my place to ask that. Everything is my fault. I shouldn't have gotten you or Akihiko involved.
Oh.
Cut that out. I'm the one who chose to join you back then. However things turned out after that has nothing to do with you. I didn't know what I was capable of. That's all there is to it.
Then why are you so determined not to return to school? You'll be throwing your future away if you don't go back.
Oh. She doesn't know. I forgot. None of them know. He knows already by now that he's going to die, whether it's because of the like persona suppressing drugs or because of Ken. But I do like seeing more interactions between these two because obviously we see plenty between Shinji and Akihiko. Like that's their major bond with each other. And then with Ken, to an extent, you see some of him interacting with the other party members, especially in Portable if you do his social link. But you don't get a ton. You don't get a ton of him and Mitsuru, directly speaking. I feel like the most direct interaction I've seen between them is in Persona 3 dancing because they have partner choreography. Which was an interesting choice because it's like Akihiko, Ken, and Mitsuru, and then the protagonist as his partners. And there's quite a bit of characterization in that, but between these two, you don't usually get a ton of interaction. You don't really get to see how they think about each other as directly. So getting some more of this, where it's like Mitsuru feels obviously guilty for what happened when Shinjiro originally was part of the group before the game ever happened. And he recognizes that and is like, no, you didn't know this would happen, and I didn't know this would happen. It's my own fault for not realizing, right? He blames himself, which we already knew. She's blaming herself, and he's like, absolutely not. Cut that out. It's me. I'm the problem. But also, I think because she feels guilty about it, she feels responsible for the fact that he's also like not going to school and missing out on stuff that's going to affect his future. Meanwhile, he's like, I'm not going to have a future, so who fucking cares, right? Anyway, my point being, it's interesting to actually see these two get to talk more because they typically don't get to talk much.
Right. I apologize. I was out of line. I don't plan on forcing you into anything like I did.
Also, Mitsuru's the Empress, which I've already talked about with Akihiko. The Empress is kind of the mother of the group, the motherly arcana. But Mitsuru isn't typically like group mom or anything, but
Not so much of a lone wolf anymore, huh?
you can see it a little bit here.
To keep moving forward. That goes for myself, Akihiko, and you. So please, Aragaki, just give it another chance.
Also, the fact that she refers to uh,
Let me guess.
oh, this is
Vice
from
president is
Shinjiro's
looking
trailer.
delinquent on the
She refers to Akihiko by his given name, and vice versa. I'm pretty sure he calls her Mitsuru. And it's like, but and obviously they refer to each other as the given names because they're very close. But Mitsuru, um, I haven't actually. I don't know how Shinji refers to her, but she refers to him by his surname. Like she calls him Aragaki instead of Shinjiro, which further indicates how like despite the history with C's before with these three, she and Shinjiro don't really know each other that well. And so, well, she feels responsible for what happens, and she wants him to go back to school. She wants to see him like trying to like have his future despite what happened. They obviously aren't close enough for her to really understand what's going through his head.
of his education.
Akihiko.
Well, I'll be damned. For a protein-fueled, muscle-bound moron, you're pretty smart.
What was that?
CMS President, this delinquent's gonna go to his room and think about his bad choices.
Also, can I say,
We're not finished yet.
voice acting's really good.
Why are you like this?
Huh? What just happened? Let's
Akihiko walking into a situation, teasing his friend like he normally would, and then messes shit up. Poor Akihiko, he doesn't know. He has no idea.
My bad. Thanks. I got a favor to ask ya. Give this to Kirijo.
Oh, so he does call her by her surname.
I haven't suddenly decided to go back to school or anything. That's a form to extend my leave of absence. Don't make much sense to be in an extracurricular squad if I get expelled. I'll drop it if I can stay absent from school. You got a point there, but that'd end up being more of a pain than it's worth. It should be pretty easy to hand it off if you do it at school. I'll pay you back for this, so help me out, alright?
Okay.
This has nothing to do with him.
Hmm.
Besides, I already know what Aki would say.
Huh. I don't see you two together very often.
It's nice that he's actually considering the fact that like
You guys do
it's technically a school club, so he should actually be a student.
that envelope. I'm guessing that's not the form for returning to school. Hey, if Shinji keeps this up, you'll be his classmates next year. You and Junpei should practice addressing him.
Unfortunately, Akihiko, neither of us will be there at that time, but you know, neither of them will be around for that.
Rather get expelled. We're gonna finish the battle this year. I've got no reason to stay enrolled after that.
Shinji. You know exactly how concerned Mitsuru is about her. You know what this form means to her, don't you? Don't tell me you forgot your promise.
Sorry. Didn't want to drag you into my problems, but still counting on you for that.
It's interesting to get to see more of
I've never
this kind of
seen
stuff.
Shinji ask someone else for help with his own problems before. He'd never say it out loud. But I think he really trusts you. I don't know. Yeah, we've known each other a long time, but sometimes being too close to somebody can have its drawbacks. I'm not gonna nag Shinji about going back to school anymore. Just do what you think is best. I'll leave it to you.
It's it is interesting that despite how close they are, Shinjiro never really... It's very obvious he never... Like, that Shinjiro never really confided in him what he was thinking, obviously, or else because he knew Akihiko would have tried to stop him. Not in regards to this, but in the, original P3 stuff. Or tried to mitigate the situation. Because he knows that Akihiko cares too much, whereas with this, it's like, well, the protagonist, there's a degree of separation there. With the protagonist, there's a degree of separation that Shinjiro can feel like he can rely on this person because they're the leader of the group, right? They're responsible, and obviously they've put in the effort to get involved on their own anyway. So they obviously care about the situation. But they're not close. So it's easier for him to hand off responsibilities like this stuff to the protagonist than it would be to confide with Akihiko, who they're too close. Akihiko cares too much, too directly, and also is too close and understands what Mitsuru is thinking as well. Which you also see in his social link in Portable, where the further into the social link you get, although you get to see more of him and see more sides of him, and he confides in stuff like, oh, he's more honest about caring about the others and about wanting, to make sure they eat well, and then wanting to make sure that they're taken care of when he's gone. He still very blatantly refuses to confide how he's feeling about what he knows is going to happen to him, because suddenly you're close and he can't do that. Obviously he wouldn't do that anyway, but his hesitance is much more obvious the further into that social link you get. And it's the same with how he treats Akihiko and Mitsuru here. Although Akihiko more than Mitsuru, because obviously he's closer to Akihiko, but still.
Akihiko to join, and Aragaki followed him soon after.
Oh, look at them!
No idea what we were doing back.
They're babies! I mean, they're only a couple years younger, but they're babies.
We had almost no intel to work off of. We could barely even make it past the entrance to Tartarus back then. Actually exploring the tower like we're doing now was nothing more than a pipe dream. Even with all our shortcomings, we worked decently as a team. As peers, it was easy for us to connect, and the work was hard but fulfilling. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not complaining about our current circumstances. We've discovered how to eliminate the Dark Hour, and we've since grown much stronger. However, after what happened in Yakushima, and with Aragaki rejoining, it's hard not to remember the old days. Maybe I'm so concerned about re-enrolling him in school because I'm still living in the past. Well, sometime after we started working as a team, we all came to an agreement. We promised we'd all graduate together. No one left behind. Akihiko was just as reckless back then, too. Aragaki was always the one reminding him that our lives were at stake. Although his wording certainly
Seeing Shinjiro in the uniform is kind of weird.
It suits him, doesn't it? I guess you've gotten to know him well. Ever since he left the team, he's acted like he's wanted to punish himself. It's almost like he just wants to waste away. I'm hoping he'll remember his promise and take a step back and look at himself. That's why I gave you the paperwork to get him back in school. That was my last hope, but I suppose it didn't work out.
Akihiko already knows, though.
All right, I'll take extending his leave of absence.
It's just kind of sad. They
What's the matter?
it's that one thing, really terrible thing that happened. They were so it's weird to think about the fact that they generally were kind of close. Like, even though Mitsuru and Shinjiro obviously aren't as close as Akihiko and Mitsuru, or Akihiko and Shinjiro are, she obviously still cares a lot, and they were close enough that they were the only ones, so obviously that in and of itself made them feel closer. And then they, make this promise they're gonna all graduate together, and then suddenly something bad happens, and this thing that seemed inevitable, I'm sure, because they were in the same year, they were all fighting together, they always had each other's back, and I mean, I'm sure Shinjiro's character wasn't wholly different than it is now. He didn't suddenly completely shift in who he is as a person. That's obvious because he and Akihiko still interact in a way that's very familiar. But he's suddenly got this, how do I put this thing weighing on him that's changing how he sees his own life. And suddenly, for the other two, they've lost him, basically. Like, he's still alive at this point, but both of them want to return to this sense of normalcy that they just can't. He's not willing to do that because he knows his life isn't going to last that long. And he doesn't want to get I'm sure he doesn't want to get their hopes up that things will go back to the way they were, only knowing that it's going to be even worse if he does. Right? It's so sad. They make me so sad.
Oh, sure. What's wrong, though? Is it missing a page? I'll let you handle it then. Make sure to let Aragaki know as well.
Oh. Come on, you can do it. Take a leave of absence unless the extension form. Now you're just meddling.
So, are you still carrying that thing around?
I can't hear him. That might be on my end, though.
Looks like you're not just playing errand boy this time. Sorry, but I'm not going back to school. Since it's you, I guess I'll say it.
Oh.
I'm gonna live much longer. I'm getting by
Well, I guess that kind of, to be fair, that proves my point, where it's like, you're not close enough for him to be worried about hurting you by saying that he's not going to live longer, right? Whereas in his social links and portable, obviously he's not going to tell you that he's actively dying because you're too close. He knows it'll hurt you. Versus this, you haven't spent that much time together. He trusts you, you're the leader, whatever. But he's not going to he's not going to avoid the topic as much because he's not worried about hurting you. You're not close enough for that to be something that should hurt you. I don't think he understands how close the members of Seeds feel just innately because they're all part of this thing that nobody else understands. But that's besides the point. the whole group, and this is the thing that interesting Q feels more like colleagues than friends to a certain extent until they start putting in the actual effort to be more legitimately close. But so it makes perfect sense that he doesn't think of this person as someone who is going to be hurt when he dies, right? So it's okay to tell them what's happening, even if he doesn't want to tell people like Akihiko, who would obviously worry and try and find a solution that may not even exist, or may, who knows, or Mitsuru, who, while they're not as close, he does know she cares. That's evident in these links, right? So it's sad, but it proves my point.
This is probably the part where I ask God for a miracle, but that's never worked for me.
Mm.
This is my body we're talking about. I know it better than anyone, and I know there's nothing I can do.
Oh, Shinji.
Here you go. 2 specials.
Eat up. The noodles are getting soggy. I know it seems like I wasted your time, but it's the good memories that stay with you and get people through their struggles. But it's also the mistakes you made that haunt you forever. I gotta use what time I have left to set things straight.
Oh,
I don't
Shinji.
have the luxury of doing anything else. You really don't mince your words, do you?
Oh, but
But you know, that ain't so bad.
I was gonna say he
It's
probably
more refreshing than having someone keep quiet because they're scared of hurting
appreciates that.
feelings.
It's the kind of people he
It's
generally
gotta be why
likes.
they're hating you so much. Aki and Kirijo are fighting with way more confidence than they had 2 years ago. Yeah, you're just something special.
Well, they were already fighting with more confidence without us.
Time to waste on me, then go spend it on someone else. Like Amada. He's still just a kid. He's way in over his head.
Like Amada,
I
huh?
still want to do whatever I can to help. But after that, I'm counting on you. I'll hold on to this. Yeah. I should have been the one to hand it in. Sorry I put that on you.
Well, so if he has to hand it in himself, it's more like he's facing it himself.
Came today.
Where do you get money, my guy? Sorry, that's a distraction, but.
Thanks. Money's on the counter.
Thanks. Come again.
The two claiming to be Strega did not interfere this time.
It's probably because we have their navigator.
Does this count as a.
Anyway, I'm glad everything went well. Still, Aragaki-senpai never showed, huh? Amada-kun too.
I mean, this should all be generally the same, right? I can't imagine any of this is different.
He's already headed home.
Yamagishi,
And,
do you know where they
you
are?
know, I'm not sure I want to watch it again, although I didn't actively watch it last time because of Game Crash, but I know how it happens. I've seen it. We don't need to see it again. I'm sad enough. That's not new content. It's just redone content. We can move on. Speaking of things that aren't new content and just redone content, listen, I didn't say I was consistent. Okay, well, YouTube hates my guts and it's not pausing, so we'll just bring this up. This is meeting Ryoji. Listen, I know that's not new. I know he's in the original game. I know. We all know. But listen, I love him dearly. I gotta pad this stream out somehow. We're still 2 hours short of where we need to be.
We have yet another transfer student. Is this really our third one? Guess that makes it a hat
Oh.
Go on, introduce yourself.
Am I? Hold on. Sorry, Ryoji. Am I an idiot? Why have I forgot? Listen, she's back here. I guess it's right here, behind the portrait. For some reason, I thought I just sat up here, and I'm not. And I'm trying to figure out if she's always sat right here, and I'm stupid, or if they changed it. I assume she's always sat here because she's like, I want to sit next to the protagonist. And that's best for her. But in my head, she's always sat up here. Probably because I'm used to being able to see her the whole time. Or feeling like I can, even though, obviously, with the portraits. No. No. Because the portraits were centered originally, weren't they? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Anyway, back to Ryoji.
Go on, introduce yourself.
I guess he'll no longer sit half on his seat in the remake. They probably put him properly in his seat this time.
Hey, he's kind of cute. I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, I forgot.
Hey, not so loud.
It's nice to meet you.
He was living overseas for a long time due to his parents' work.
And I say again, where'd this backstory come from, Ryoji? Where'd the paperwork come from?
Thanks.
Maybe his existence just altered everyone's cognition into believing that that was the case.
Up front, second from the left.
Oh, Miss Toriumi? That seat's taken.
You don't show up, you lose your seat. Have I not been clear about this?
You've been very clear, but I still think it's unfair, because what if you're sick?
Let that be a lesson to the rest of you.
Me too, Yukari. Listen, he needs to be visible on screen.
Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
You are dangerous.
Dangerous? I haven't even asked you out to dinner yet.
Dinner? I guess, what's the matter?
Rejected right off the bat. You're one interesting.
She's gonna do more than reject you.
What the heck?
Give it a few months, she'll try to kill you.
You barely had time in the spotlight as the new kid, and now you have to share it.
Not
Except right
at
now,
all what's going on.
to me. Hey, is anyone even listening?
I won't make the same joke I did last time. I've matured.
Pay close attention, all right?
I assume this is. Well, no, I was wondering if. Yeah, school.
Mochizuki-kun! How was your first day after transferring? I hope you like it here, Mochizuki-kun.
Trying to figure out if they pronounce his name differently now.
Hey, do you have plans today? If
Not pronounce, but emphasize his name differently, like the syllables.
Oh, Mochizuki-kun, sorry to interrupt, but could you stop by the faculty office? I'd like to give you a copy of the paperwork for your transfer.
Where did this paperwork come from?
Right, could you come along too? Go ahead and take that home with you. That should just about do it.
So this is definitely new.
Thanks. Guess I'm done here then. See you tomorrow.
Sorry, hold on. Could you two take these boxes over to the music room?
We've been recruited for manual labor.
Yes. You know where the music room is, right? I think the boxes are full of sheet music. They're really heavy, so be careful not to hurt yourselves. I signed for these packages on behalf of the music club, but I can't keep them here forever. That damn Ekoda. Mr. Ekoda has been talking my ear off, nagging me to get them out of here.
Come on. We can't let the poor teacher carry all that
herself? Let's help her out.
Ooh, now that's what I like to hear,
Hmm.
Mochizuki-kun. Why don't I bump both your composition
This is a
grades up
direction thing and not an actual voice acting thing. They've directed him to
Handling this by myself,
have quite a
but
different
I did just transfer here.
tone about
Do you
it,
think you could show me the way to the
about
music hall?
him, the way he speaks. It's a thing I have to adjust to, but not necessarily a bad
Maybe that's
thing.
all of it. That was harder than I expected, but the teacher needed our help, right? I gotta say, though, you are stronger than you look, huh? Do you work out or something?
Are you hitting us?
Oh, are you on a sports team? Like baseball or soccer? I think there's a track team, too. I'd like to join one, too, but I guess they're not recruiting right now. Oh, that's right. This caught my eye when we walked in. I noticed you're always wearing headphones. I take it you're really into music? How about I play you a song to break the ice between us? Sound good?
See, now he's definitely flirting.
Great.
Does he even know what he's doing? Where'd you learn to do that? Sir?
How was that?
Now I have to assume.
I
See, everything Ryoji knows that
for us to hit it
I'm
off.
like, where did that come from? I have to
So
assume
much that I'm not comfortable or
was borrowed, or like
so I want to keep looking.
something he learned from the protagonist. Confirm the protagonist can play piano.
Back in spring. Seems like we have a thing or two in common. You think we can be friends?
You could be more than that. Oh. You're allowed to be so much nicer than him than I expected.
Thanks. It does somehow feel like we've known each other for a long time already.
I wonder why.
What are we supposed to do in this situation? Oh, right. I think we exchange phone numbers?
Where'd you get a phone from?
Sorry. I don't have my phone
Oh,
right now.
you don't have it right now.
I'll note it down and get back to you later.
You don't have it right now. Do you have a phone at all?
Thanks. I'll be in touch.
Does he have a phone? Where did he get a phone? Ryoji, I need answers.
Around the school. Just whatever parts you're familiar with.
There's something about him that lingers in my mind. I wonder why. Suspicious. Okay. Now, his link episode. I guess this starts with
Go ahead and take that home with you.
this stuff. Is that just...
Just about do it.
Thanks. Guess
Hold on.
I'm done here then.
If this would let me pause, I'd be so grateful. There we go. This is a little bit longer, so it's gonna have more in here than that does. Okay, so that's where that one ends. Okay. Come on, there we go. All right. Now, okay. So this one has that scene in it, but it also has more than that.
It's nice to meet you. So, you said you needed to talk to me?
Yeah, keep your hands off our girlfriends.
All I've been hearing her talk about is Ryoji-kun.
You didn't vocalize the heart.
You need to stop talking to every girl you see. Oh, sorry. I
It's a little funny, to be honest.
Sorry if I offended you, but I have
Okay, you can't make apologies saying, I'm sorry if I offended you.
for a bite to eat.
That's exactly what we call making a move.
That's a problem. I've made a promise to go out with them. I can't just cancel due to my inconvenience.
Y'all, if your girlfriends are that easily swayed into going out with someone else, you shouldn't be dating them.
Your phone. I'm gonna delete all the contact info you have.
He doesn't know any better.
Who the hell are you? This is none of your business.
It's a terrible excuse, but in this case, it probably is technically true.
That guy from 2F. I heard he's friends with
Oh, I see this person use the other name, not the canon one.
What do we do? If he tells them, then
It's okay, me too. I think he's. I saw that instead of me.
Delete them from your contacts. Got it?
All right. I'll do it.
You don't sound so serious about it.
He'll steal your girlfriend too.
Joke's on you, he is my girlfriend. I'm stupid, I'm sorry. That's not funny to anyone but me. He's so much taller. Can I point out? We all know who Ryoji is. It's a spoiler video, and also, I just did a P3P playthrough. So if you don't, it's too late to know. Anyway, this height difference, sir, you basically copied your appearance from this man, and then you made yourself taller. It's so funny. Why'd he do that? He like fully copied most of his humanity, and like obviously not all of it, but there's aspects of it. I could write an essay. It's fine. We're not talking about that. But like his appearance, canonically, they look very similar. At least the manga makes that canonical for that. And also, it's generally pretty obvious looking at their features that they share a lot of features, mole notwithstanding. But he made himself taller. It's just it's like no, I can't. I gotta be like a little bit taller. Like, why'd you do that? Why are you so tall? I know he's only like what 5'11", but he's 5'7". So like, why'd you do that?
That wasn't really my intention. From now on, I will ask if they have a boyfriend first before inviting them out.
To be fair, they should be saying no if they have a boyfriend.
What a great view. The ocean looks so beautiful. I do like seeing it from the monorail to school each morning, but it looks so different from up here.
Well, this is directly, not directly, but this is taken from his social link.
That means you like each other, right? I don't think me getting in the picture would change that, would it? I wonder what it means to like someone. Do you have someone like that? Wow, that must be nice. Is it anybody I know? I wonder what you two talk about. I guess there's still a lot that I don't understand.
Mm.
Look at the world out there. The people in the city, our classmates at school, and you. I want to know more about all of it. Alright, since I dragged you into this mess today, let me make it up to you. I'll treat you to ramen. I just had some with Junpei-kun the other day, and while we're at it, maybe
It's nice.
around town. I like to know what
You can see things that obviously influence how he's written in other places, whether it be the manga or the movies or the stage play. I forgot. And that scene is very in line with one of his lines in the song in the stage play. Where he says, I love it. Is it each and every one of you, or just I love every one of you? Something like that. I hope you can forgive me for that. Is the line. Like, I love every one of you. I hope you can forgive me for that. Right? It's very evident. And this is the thing I've said before, where it's like the things that obviously he's gained humanity and the ability to care for others from the protagonist, and this is true whichever protagonist it is. When he gained those things, it's like the person who's in the end willing to sacrifice himself to save everyone is also the one who gave literally death itself the ability to love them. And I feel so many emotions about this stupid game. Oh, this is on the trip, right?
Wow. I didn't know you could come all the way down here. Going on trips is great, huh? I've seen a lot of the sights here now, and everything is so fascinating. There's so much I've never seen before. My mind's having trouble keeping up. I even bought myself a souvenir. Look, it's a music box.
No, what is? Hold on. Can you hear it?
Doesn't it sound nice? I don't know the name of the song, though.
Turn it up.
I'm kind of glad to hear you say that.
I go back. I missed it.
Name of the song, though. I'm kind of glad to hear you say that. Sometime, way down the line, I'll listen to this melody, and when I do, I'll think back fondly on this trip.
Yeah, well,
Evening sun is so bright, reflecting off the water's surface. It's different from the view we get from the school roof. I wonder if this is the reason why people come to
I
visit.
never noticed how much reference there is to water
know,
until
a long
the
time
menu
ago,
change, and
this
suddenly I'm
place
so
used to be
aware
an
of it.
execution site.
How'd you know?
Sorry. I didn't mean to darken the mood all of a sudden. And that stuff happened a lot.
Well, if the school trip goes anything like it has in every other version of the game, it might still be an execution site.
Long time ago. Besides, it's still nice and bright out right now. I've heard rivers have long been thought to be a border between this world and the afterlife.
Oh?
But with so many couples around, it doesn't really give that impression, huh?
No, not really.
I've been thinking, every one of us will die someday, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, the time will come when we have to part. So then, why? Why do people try so hard to connect with each other?
Why are you trying to
I'm not
connect
just
with other
talking about
people?
romance either. It's the same for friends, family, everyone. For
Well,
each
the
person
thesis
you
of the
connect
game.
with, it just makes saying goodbye that much harder. So, what's the point?
Great, I have to write an analysis about these options now. I mean, that's the thesis of the game in every version is you're all gonna die, but you should, you know, live life to the fullest while you're here, you know, and connecting to other people is a part of what makes life worth living in the first place, even if it's going to hurt when you're separated. That pain is because it mattered in the first place, right? It's not pointless to make connections. And obviously, he feels that to some degree because he's constantly trying to make connections with other people, even if they're a bit surface level. I have so many thoughts about Ryoji.
So you mean we just can't stand the pain of being alone? But look at everyone around us. They've chosen their partners out of a large crowd, haven't they? So it's not about loneliness. They genuinely want to be with each other, right?
Is my computer fucking making all that noise, or is it something else? Oh no, it's something else. Okay.
Oops, sorry. Conversation got a bit heavy there. Looking out at the river just made me think about things for some reason.
I
If
wonder
you
why.
follow the flow of water, you'll eventually reach the ocean, right? Its destination is already decided. but it takes so many different forms before it gets there.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's quiet and calm, other times it's choppy rapids. Sometimes it's clear, but other times
This is their way of justifying the menus being all water themed.
We're the same way.
No, it's
We're
always
all
been that
in
way.
the midst of a long
The
journey,
game, not
with all kinds
the
of things
menus.
happening as we
There's
go
always
along.
been water as a theme.
I never realized any of this until coming on this trip with you. Everything feels that much more fascinating when you're here. I guess you could say it expands my horizons. Time spent talking together with you like this just feels precious to me.
A little romantic, I'll be honest.
It kind of sounds like I'm confessing my love or something, huh?
We did it, boys. We won.
The wind is chilly out here by the water, but we should probably head back.
Listen, they don't have to make it as explicit, but we know. We saw P3P. He literally says, I'd like you even if whether you were a boy or a girl, so we know. Also, he sits like that, so obviously we know.
Thanks for coming. Well.
Okay. Hey, you just... Ooh,
How do I put
that's
this?
familiar.
I suddenly
Would this have an easier time if I turned down the quality? This is a genuine question. I don't need it to be high quality. 720 is still pretty high quality. 720 used to be high definition, so
I'm running out of time.
we'll see.
And I felt like I had to see you. I had to talk to you. Sorry. I'm not even sure what I wanted to say to you. So, I guess for today, I'd like to say thanks.
Man.
It hasn't been that long since we met, but I feel like I've learned so much by spending time with you. I just really wanted to thank you for that.
You learned everything from him.
You showed me around the school and the city. I got to hang out with you and the others. I even got to go on a trip with you. That was a lot of fun. It's been a joy to experience and learn new things every day.
I wish I was musically inclined enough to know if this is new or if this is an existing piece.
Just like this. I guess I wanted you to hear this song. When I saw those couples in Kyoto, or when I visited you guys at the dorm, I realized that's what it really means to build a connection with someone. It's that feeling of overcoming something together and keeping each other going. Both sides need to come to an understanding. That's how connections are built, right? I want you to know that you're important to me. I know I said I wanted us to be friends, but I actually want to be something more. What about you?
No, damn it. Once again, cheated by the game. Damn it. The game once again cheats us out of the opportunity. This... Okay. Let me put this into perspective. Why I'm outraged. I'm not really outraged, but why I will say I'm outraged. Persona 3 Portable confirms this. Ryoji literally says, I'd like you whether you were a boy or a girl, right? So, canonicized, this man is bisexual. Which is fine, right? Unfortunately, we don't get to see that as the male protagonist because we can't social link with him. That's beside the point. It'll be the point later. Put a pin in it. I'm gesturing too much with my hands, and I think it's blocking. YouTube Studio is gonna freak out. Anyway, put a pin in that. Confirmed bisexual Ryoji We're putting a pin in it, moving on. Then we have Igus. This is relevant. Her social link. She has a social link. It with the male protagonist. It's romantic. Obviously, you can date her, just like every other female character. You probably don't have a choice. In the original P3, that's how that works. You have a choice now. They added friendship routes. It's great. That's beside the point. Igus, with the male protagonist, you grow into her. It's obvious. As a female protagonist, it is so obviously basically the same. The way she feels is very obviously the same. She even makes comments about how, oh, because she's not human, and then also because she's not a boy. She might say man, I don't remember. But because of that, you know, that she can't have what she wants. So obviously confirmed, right? But in her social link, the ending of that is basically the same, right? The way her social link ends in both protagonists is basically exactly the same, implying that technically, even though it doesn't treat her like your girlfriend, you're dating. Like, it's the same, right? It is absolutely and evidently romantic. So, pull the pen back out for Ryoji. In this game, they make it obvious, but they are still dancing around the language, even though we know how he feels. He's literally basically confessed, and then, but you're fucking this idiot, this dumbass doesn't understand and doesn't say, oh, I feel the same way. It's so, give me the option. But you can't, because he's not an actual social link. Because he's not an actual social link, he's not actually romanceable. So they've robbed us once again. Anyway, that's my stupid tangent. We've been robbed. Only girls are allowed to date other girls. Boys can't, I guess.
More. What about you?
Like, why are you bringing this up? I don't understand. No, I feel the same way.
I don't really get it myself, but
Excuse me. Oh, it's you. Sorry, I hope I didn't interrupt. I was just passing through the hall, and I heard someone playing a beautiful song on the piano. So I thought I'd stop by to watch the performance.
Oh,
Who
Fuka.
was the one playing? Was it you? Oh,
Ryoji really
I wanted to
absconded,
ask.
huh?
It might have just been my imagination, but I thought I sensed Ryoji-kun's presence in this room.
You sure did. Where'd he
Were you
go?
not with him?
Huh. Oh. Oh, hello. Oh no. Speaking of how this story ends.
it's been a long time since we talked like this in your room. Though back then, I had a different form and a different name. It seems like you all decided to let me live. You're all going to risk your lives on a battle you can't win.
Man,
But
they're gonna make me sad
You're not
again.
the ones here right now. You are. I'll say
Why'd
this
they say
one
it
more
like
time.
that?
If you kill me, Tartarus, the Dark Hour, and the memories of your battles will all disappear. Tomorrow, you'll wake up as a normal high school student. You'll be able to live in peace until the moment of the fall. But if you let me live, you'll spend
I do think the
every
direction
waking
for
moment
this
until that day
scene,
dreading your
I haven't
inevitable
really
death.
thought about it since the first scene, but in
Nyx
this one,
can't be defeated.
it's
It's pointless.
I don't know if it's directed necessarily innately differently, but it's definitely done very well.
To fight her. Are you still thinking, or have you already made up your mind?
Oh, I want to see how they worded it in this one. Because in the original, it's just like, let him live, kill him. The way they've worded it is sparing him is interesting. There's just tiny details that interest me about what they choose to word to
change your mind. There's still some time until midnight. I didn't want to have to show you this, but I have no choice.
Ooh, the transitions? No. Cool. No.
I am not
Yoji, we already knew this.
I will bring death to this world.
We already knew what you are. It has no influence on that. It's irrelevant. Firstly, we want to fight even if it's futile. It still has a point. I said it before. But on the other hand, you're still our friend even if you're not human, you fucking moron.
In this world cannot be changed. That's something you can't comprehend. Memories are not set in stone. Old ones can be replaced with new ones, creating a new reality. Don't you think you should put a stop to everyone's pain and suffering? It's up to you. Only you can make this decision. Now.
Not to quote Kingdom Hearts, but pain is part of being human.
Your answer. Please kill me. More than anything, I don't want to see you suffer. After all, you're someone very
He said it. He's confessed again. Yeah.
I understand. As sad
He looks
as I
so
am to hear
upset.
it, it's your life. You're free to do what you want with it. I'll respect your decision. Let's get back to the others. I need to tell you guys how to confront Nyx.
Don't you want to talk a little first?
Somehow, I knew that's what you'd choose. I know you better than anyone, after all. I have this feeling like I always wanted to see you again. That's why I came back to you as Ryoji Mochizuki.
Well, they did pronounce it a little bit
Maybe there really
better in
is
this
some power out there that can do the impossible. And if there is,
I keep saying that. I guess if you didn't watch the V3P playthrough, it doesn't make any sense. But I said, because in that, they said Mochizuki. Like, they emphasized the chi in it. It's like, Mochizuki is how they said it. Which, like, technically all the syllables are pronounced correctly. But the emphasis is all in the wrong place, where it should be Mochizuki. Because in Japanese, generally, with names, it's like the first syllable and the third syllable. It's like the odd number syllables are the one with emphasis. Like, trying to think of another character. Like, in Yakuza, the series, Haruka. It's like Haruka, because it's ha, and then the ru is less emphasized, and ka is emphasized again, so it's Haruka. Versus how I guess a lot of English names are said, or a lot of English speakers do this, so I have to assume it's like innate, is Haruka, where you emphasize the second one. It's the same with how they pronounced his name in the original game in MP3P, where they said Mochizuki, or like Mochizuki, where they emphasize the even syllables. Versus here, they do it a little bit closer to how it should be, which is Mochizuki. I'm not saying it correctly, technically, but like, I know what it should be, whether or not I can actually emphasize it correctly. It's like Mochizuki versus Mochizuki, if it's evident. Anyway, that's not important to the scene. It just bothered me so much in the original but it bothers me in like Persona 5. Every surname in that fucking game they say incorrectly. Who it bothers me the most with On's surname and Yusuke's, where it's like Kitagawa, and it's like that's not. You're saying the correct syllables, but it's all wrong. It should be Kitagawa. Say their names correctly. It's not that hard. Please.
Is some power out there that can do the impossible, and if there is,
I think I accidentally skipped ahead instead of.
Ryoji Mochizuki.
I have to hear it again. Hold on.
That's why I came back to you as Ryoji Mochizuki.
No, they still say it. They emphasize the
Maybe
chi too much.
There really is some power out
For the
there that can do
Mochizuki, it's
impossible.
Mochizuki.
And if there is,
So, damn it.
I know you all have it.
Why do they do that?
Oh,
Why does localization always do that? It's not that hard to
I
pronounce
want
it
you to have
correctly.
this.
Or at least closer to correct. Oh. Oh my god.
I know this isn't exactly the best timing, but I never thought I'd feel this way. Whenever you play this music box, I hope that you'll remember me.
Oh my god.
Come on, let's go. Everyone's waiting.
Just say you love the protagonist. We all know. We know the truth. Yo, just... Damn it. Damn it. This game has once again robbed me. I feel cheated. Ah. I've run out of things that I had loaded up. I had a playlist of Persona 3 Reload stuff. I've run out of things that are like new to Reload. So I guess that's it. Although part of me wants to just watch Akinari Social Link just because he's the best. Baby is too. I have heard Bebe's voice dialogue. I guess they decided to not write in all of the accent. They did not write his accent this time. So that's an improvement, I suppose. But they did still make his accent pretty heavy. I appreciate it. He's the best. He and Akinari, best social links. Fight me. Anyway, but Ryoji's link episodes are so close to just being his P3P social link, except for the fact that you can't romance him. I'm so sad. Just let the protagonist be bisexual. Kotode is. She's allowed to do that. Like, she's allowed to. It's pretty heavily implied that Ren is in Persona 5. It's almost too blatant that Yu is in Persona 4. Like, if they didn't cut Yosuke's social link, it would be canon. I mean, they didn't cut his social link, but, you know, cut the romance part of it. And to be fair, from a character perspective, it makes sense. Kind of weird to have him mourning over his dead crush and then be like, but also he's in love with you, you know? But still, they robbed us of that. And then in Persona 2, the most canon route is the male romance. So, canonically bisexual Tatsuya. So, like, I don't know about Persona 1, probably not, because there's like no romance in Persona 1 to my knowledge, and if there is, it's like canonical and not like a choice. That's besides the point. So, everyone except Makoto/Minata, depending on how you pronounce it, everyone except the Persona 3 male protagonist. Why? Why did they do that to us? Basically, I just want to be gay in video games. Is that too much to ask? I just want to be my truest self. Which is a not straight man, right? Just let me do it. Atlas, Like, who's gonna be upset? Oh, you're gonna be upset because you're given the option? An option? It doesn't, you don't have to do it. It's optional. Anyway. I'll stop being upset about Ryoji for a second. I did manage to pad this out a bit. I'm only 1 hour behind when I would normally in the stream, and technically I only need to stream for 3 hours. I just want to get a full 4 in there most of the time, but I've run out of reload content. I've run out of reload content that I had queued up, and I don't know if there's anything else that is reload specific. So where did I go? I switched back to OBS and my model was gone. Where did it go? Me being upset about things that Atlas is wrong because of, notwithstanding. Okay. Okay. My eye tracking's freaking out. I don't know what's up with that. I'll move myself down a little bit. Ah! Anyway. That aside, since I'm out of reload content, whoops. You didn't say anything, but on my end, I switched to the wrong window. Since I'm out of reload content, that'll be it. There will be no streams the rest of this week, so Friday will be skipped. And I'm debating completely changing my stream schedule. Because getting up at like 6 almost, technically I get up at, okay, technically it's not 6 almost, I get up at 7 my time. But for me, that's really early. Because I have insomnia. So if I start streaming at the time in which I'm already been up most of the day, it might be better for me, is what I'm saying. So I'm debating changing my stream schedule completely. Here's the thing. Let me look at a calendar. I won't be streaming Friday, so not on the 9th. I won't be streaming on Valentine's Day. That's not because of Valentine's Day. It's because I'm helping someone else run a booth at an art thing. So I've agreed to do that already, so I gotta. And I have to like leave for that, or rather be picked up for that at the time in which I would already, at a time in which I would still be streaming. So obviously can't do that. I'm thinking about not streaming at all next week, and I might change my. I'll announce that on the weekend whether or not that's the case. And I'm thinking about changing my stream schedule. So like on the 19th, which is the next Monday after next week, maybe streaming in the evening my time. I don't know if it's evening anywhere right now. I know it's afternoon for some people right now. Evening my time. If I do that, I will have to change the days I stream because I can't stream on Friday in the evening. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. I don't necessarily dislike the morning streams. It's just because of the time of day that I'm streaming. For me, it's really early, which means anyone in my time zone is asleep, probably, or at work. And then anyone in time zones that are ahead of mine, it's like mid-afternoon. I don't know. It's a compromise I'll have to make, no matter which time of day, because the evening for me is really late for some people, because like 6 p.m. Pacific time is 9 Eastern. So if it's a weekday, a lot of people are asleep, probably. I don't know. Nobody I know actually goes to sleep at a reasonable time, so that's besides the point. But the reason I'm not streaming the rest of the week is I really don't have anything to do. I'm not sure about streaming games anymore because the lag if I have my model open is just too much. And what's the point of being a VTuber if you don't have a fucking model on screen, right? So there's that. It's a thing. I don't know. Um so maybe maybe change the content. I can go back to doing art streams. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't have a category for streaming art. It has gaming, and then you can put what game it is. For art, it's like wing it, I guess. But I'd have to do more planning. Probably do sketches beforehand. It's a thing. I do have some sketches for Persona 3 content, which is apparently all I make. But it's really becoming a debate if I want to continue streaming outright or if I just want to make content. The thing is, having a stream schedule keeps me actively making stuff versus if I have to make stuff, I procrastinate. And also, I may or may not have undiagnosed ADHD. Can't confirm it because it's not diagnosed, but the symptoms are. At the very least, I have a lot of the symptoms there. But the same's true of OCD, so I don't know. Which is, it's a whole thing. Regardless, stream schedule might change. I don't know. It might be. I might stop streaming outright and just upload recorded content, which I can make sure works better. Like, I can record the audio separately so I can, not have the unending amount of audio issues. So, I don't know. It'll have to be determined in the future. Regardless, I probably won't be streaming next week. And obviously I won't be streaming Friday, so I know I just got into this, so it's a bit weird to immediately then start. I mean, it's been a whole month. I'm a month in and immediately start missing streams outright. And when I do, usually I reschedule them to a different day, but like when I missed a stream, if Monday's the 15th stream, I moved it to Tuesday. But I don't know. I didn't necessarily want to be a streamer in the first place. I wanted to make video essays. And yet here I am. And that's pretty evident in the things I say when talking about the content where I'm like, oh, that's cool, but also here's an essay unprompted. I did have some things to say about reloads. I watched the opening section. I didn't realize it'd have so much so many thoughts at the time because it's like seeing that and then seeing the the outside of the dorm. It's like a full area and it looks so much bigger. And I'm like, oh my god, Reload made this in like a full place. The only thing that bothers me is the dorm doesn't have any shadows under objects, and I'm not the only one who said this. It makes the dorm look so odd. Like, what? Why is it like that? Anyway, that's beside the point. Was there a point? I don't know. So, the stream obviously is going to end early today because I can't spend the next hour rambling about. I mean, I could. I have the absolute capability to spend the next hour rambling about Persona 3. I've done it before. I did it with Kingdom Hearts. I spent 5 hours info dumping about Kingdom Hearts to my friend this is my birthday present, was just me info dumping Kingdom Hearts information at them. I don't know how they felt about that, but they did offer that, so that's on them. They made that decision, and I will do the same about Persona 3 this year. I'll force them to watch the Persona 3 movies. Just spend hours talking about it. But, so yes, on a technical level, I could, in fact, spend the next hour ranting about Persona 3 and my thoughts and things that I want to write full essays about. Now that I've seen the additional content for Ryoji in Persona 3. I do want to write something about Ryoji. I've had this idea forever, but I'd have to actually. Well, I guess I just replayed P3P, so I do know what happened. But there's a lot. There is, in fact, a lot, and I have a lot to say about every character in this game. But I can't write about the protagonist that much. I'm enough of a clown. I don't need any more evidence of that on the internet. But I have a lot to say about Ryoji specifically. Besides that, I have a lot to say about every character in this game. To be fair, I went on a tangent about Junpei that was really only partially about Junpei for, I don't know, probably 10 minutes. And the same about Akihiko. So I could do it. I could. But nobody wants that. And it would make the stream title technically a lie. I did have to change the title of the last stream because it said reload content and there's like 5 minutes of reload content in it. It's fine. Point being, I have to end the stream early instead of spending the next hour talking about reload without any content on screen. But I could do it, and that's a threat. So, to summarize, I will be ending the stream early. I will not be streaming the rest of this week, and I most likely will not be streaming next week. So, that's just how that's going to be. Regardless, I will still be working on things, and after next week, I'll determine whether or not I'm going to continue streaming outright, or if I'm just going to make videos. On that note, I should probably at some point finish my lore video. The problem with that is I don't have any music for it. And I don't have another person to voice the other character. It's just me. Oh well, that's future me's problem, and he'll deal with it. He'll figure it out. Regardless, stream ending. I like Reload. I like the new content in Reload. I think it's interesting. I wish they would just I wish they would let us romance Ryoji. That's it. No, I wish it wasn't firstly super time gated. I know the Link episodes are super time gated, so they have to happen at specific moments. But also that there was more of it, I guess. Because social links are 10 ranks, right? So you have at least 10 of them. And the Link episodes seem to be about 3 to 4. It's just kind of sad, you know? But regardless, I like Reload. I still stand by my point that the 2D animated cutscenes aren't as good. I'll die on that hill. I don't think they're badly animated, which is not the point I'm trying to make. I think they're very well animated, the walk cycles notwithstanding. The problem isn't that they're badly animated. The problem is that they take me out of the moment because they are so aesthetically different to the 3D, and the cutscenes in 3D are so good now. I've had this feeling about Persona 5. I felt the same way, and I will continue to feel that way about Reload, and probably Persona 6 when they inevitably make Persona 6 and they have the animated cutscenes and they still feel worse because because the models in game are so good now that it feels pointless. To be fair, I'd like them better than the original P3 cutscenes, but that's because I'm a hater. And I've never liked those cutscenes. I think they look real wonky. Yeah. But that's a personal preference thing. So is my general opinion on the 2D cutscenes, but I'm going to stand by it. And if you disagree, you're wrong. But that's beside the point. There is no point. I've never had a point in my life. I've had several, but none of them make any sense to anyone but me. With that said, I should stop rambling, right? It's been probably 10 minutes. We can end it. I don't think there's any other relay content that I'm going to react to. And if I do, I won't do it on stream. I'll just post it separately. Just because it's easier. So there's that. I might change the stream schedule. I won't be streaming the rest of this week. Probably not next week either. Maybe Friday next week. We'll see. Twitter, I will definitely make an announcement before Friday. I don't know. I might make a community tab announcement, but I always forget that exists, so maybe not. But I have that now, so I might as well use it. And if I change my stream schedule, I will make an announcement. Regardless, if I do stream next Friday, it'll be the same time. I won't change it that abruptly. But we'll see. On that note, I don't have hands, so I can't wave, but I always instinctually want to wave when I go to say goodbye. But that's it. Reload looks good. It makes me very happy. It makes me less happy because I can't own it myself. Because being poor is a nightmare, but I like it. I like Reload a lot. I'm going to watch several other people play through Reload and live vicariously through them. So, with that said, I think I've said everything I need to. And probably more than that. Probably exceptionally a lot more. So, that's the end. I'm gonna take a nap.